Hello Internet, this is E. Schrodinger's cat here with another episode of Builder's Dreams on the Escal85 Patreon server. Wow, something just pulled at my mouse cord, causing me to go all spinny. Last time we worked on this tower thing, and it's still not done, but I've done a little bit more stuff on it. Added some of these limestone details around different areas. There's some up there and some around here, and I got these bars here on this window, added detail to the window, so that's nice. Still some lack of, gotta do that, and whoa, my controls are all over the place today. And got a detail out here, but that's whatever, I'll do it later. What I did work on, another thing that I added these black things to this, which I think makes it look better, more complete. And I did this. I did this silty, swishy sand thing in the canal to make it look like there were two kinds of sand that kind of got swashed together through the water and whatnot have you, and it goes all the way around. Haven't quite gotten it to down here yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And so today, I want to work down in the gaping hole to make a room that is similar to, ooh, that lag. Optifine's dynamic lighting does not play well with chiseling bits. Look at that. Oh, it's riding the struggle bus, but today, this is my favorite area in the whole base, this room here that we did a few episodes or so back. So I want to do something, I want to do a similar cave in here. So if I put my night vision back on, you see I dug out this big hole right here. Wow, some serious lag spikes today. Dug this big hole. We got with our good reliable friend vein miner. I said our good reliable friend vein miner. There we go. And so what I'm gonna do is, I'm just the same way I did with this cave, is I'm gonna make a shell with this shale, and then we can start to detail it. I have started making the floor to this area, kind of got this arch. Well, actually, this was already here. Never mind me. But yeah, I got this floor worked out. Got some of that, and I just wanted to. I'm gonna keep filling this in, but I just wanted to cut in just to say that this wireframe that you see here is a great way of defining interior caves like this in organic, or I mean really in anything. When you are working in multiple dimensions, it's you sort of like make like a chicken wire frame of what you want to make, and that helps your brain figure out where all the curves and the features of the place will go. And it, a lot of times you look at a space and you'll be like, oh, I know what I want to create, but I can't, imagine anything in particular that could go in this space. Like you have cave in your brain, and you want something that is, has more to it than just vaguely spherical interior space. You want to have characteristics. You can do that, and you can figure out, you can take it from being an idea to being an actual thing by doing stuff like this, because when you, the more of these lines that you put in, you put in one line, your brain gets an idea for a few others, and then you put in those, your brain gets the idea for a few more, and so, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just a good way of making a seemingly massive job a little more manageable. We're getting there, team! We're getting there, a little bit. Shapes is coming to play. I also went out this way because I am chronically incapable of making small projects. I needed to double what I had planned to do. So it occurred to me that you guys are probably wondering why I'm complaining about how much space I have to do, and yet I could be doing this all at full block scale, and yet here I am doing it at half block scale. And I find that it is much easier to keep a project manageable, of a manageable size, if I keep myself to strictly chiseling bits, because I can get carried away. Like, even with this area, I set out to make a cave with this footprint, and I just added this here because I felt like it looked good at the time, and that doubled my project size. And with full blocks, I can really get carried away, and it's, you know, it's a lot faster. It would be a lot faster to do this area, but that's also kind of a double-edged sword, because my idea when it comes to building is that faster means I can do more. And when it comes to creating something that's a chisel and bit work as opposed to, you know, it's something with the level of detail that's down here, you can't really do that when you go mega build on full blocks. And so the half block chisel and bit stuff, that keeps me from, it's basically a leash from me going overboard, not creating a project that I am either unable to finish or that I won't be able to finish in the level of detail that I want to. And another benefit is that your mind kind of works in a space, and it gets, you get in a groove of using the tools that you use, and when you swap back and forth between tools, it can be a little disruptive of the creative process. And so I find that when I work with just purely chisel and bits, I am able to create things that are, you know, better and more suitable for the medium than I am if I am swapping between full blocks and chisel and bits, because, you know, I did a base on, I think it was one of the Patreon Hermit Pack servers, where I did this whole thing and I made this whole alien castle, and then I tried to go through, I did it in full blocks, and then I tried to go back through with chisel and bits, and not only was it super tedious because the thing was massive, like the overall product was not as good because it was a base designed to be one size, and then I was trying to apply scale that was entirely disproportionate to that building, and so, you know, it looked like the chisel and bit stuff that I was doing was an afterthought. And so keeping all of the work that I do in this scale keeps everything properly proportioned. And we have done it! Sort of. Well, we've done it enough for today, because I set out making this black area's footprint of a cave, and I have done that. It's missing a wall, but that's okay. It's done for my own sanity. It is done. So what I'm doing now is, I decided to have this upper bit be like a platform here, and I was trying to think about what to put in this room, and I had a hard time visualizing it with just this room and then this hole here. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm making this staircase up to this hole here, and I'm gonna have this be like kind of like a basement, and I think I'm gonna put some creatures in here, like maybe I'll make a big spider or something. But yeah, I'm just working on this stairway here, and this is a stairway that's the same stairway as this one, with the same health code violations and everything. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically just making one stair at a time. There's like not a whole lot of rules to it. I mean, terraforming is a strange thing, because on one hand there are you don't have to count it all in a sense. Like if your pathway lands 10 blocks or 5 blocks or whatever short of what you wanted it to be, like, it doesn't matter too much. It's easier to recoup from that because you can just make another organic shape in the middle. But on the other hand, like, there are certain rules that you do follow when doing some terraforming projects, and like this one, I'm following the rule. I'm following certain rules. Like here, in some of these curves, you might notice, like, actually down here is probably a better way to explain it. Like, I'm following rules here, like this distance between this line here and this line here is way, hello Windows, beeping at me again, is way bigger than this difference in here. So the rule that I'm following here is that this this curve here, the land masses around this curve are much shallower, or have a shallower slope than here, and so I'm following it has to be a larger number of bits between here than it does in here, and there's a lot to trial and error to those things, like deciding what rule you want to make. Like, it's really going to depend on how your brain, the way that your individual brain is capable of learning, because, you know, in different kinds of rules and intelligences, you have certain things that make more sense to others, and, like, I have a very mathematical way of seeing terraforming because that's my background is in computer science, and so I think about terraforming a lot in terms of rates of change and, like, different, you know, like Fibonacci sequences and stuff like that, and that works for me, and it might not necessarily work for someone who doesn't have that, you know, math background. So I don't know, I'm trying to think of how to, like, explain how I do this stuff, and I don't really know. It's definitely something I'm gonna have to think on in terms of, okay, I'm making this stairway and I'm doing it a certain way, which, as it looks like right now, is the wrong way, because I'm talking while I'm building, so I gotta curve this stairways back around, and I have totally lost my train of thought. Boy, that made 0 sense, didn't it? I took 3 takes of that last clip and picked the one that makes the most sense. I guess it's probably better off that I don't become a famous philosopher, because I'd probably name all of my theories after memes, and that's not a world that we want to live in. I'm building a big spotter. Yep. I finished a bunch of this area, changed this from the brownstone to shale because I thought it was too much of the brownstone. There was no differentiation in the floors. I finished up this area here, got this pathway winding up down, didn't finish this over here because I think I want to do something different. I might, server? I might have like a pitfall to the void and then have like a big, I don't know, sandfall or waterfall or some feature piece right here. But that will wait for another day, because right now we got Spotter to build. I've been, this is a very rough model. I just kind of outlined the shape of the body and the head, and now I'm putting the legs in. The idea before this is that this pit down here, this spider is like a big pet that these people have, and I imagine the down here to be like kind of like the Falmer from Elder Scrolls, how they live in those I gotta attend to some decisions, but I'll do that in a hot sec. How in the Elder Scrolls they have these cities or these caves that have these like bridges and stuff made out of dead animals, and they have, I'm imagining them having this big pet spider that they throw any intruders to, or pests that they find, or whatever. And so I'm gonna have the spider here, and I'm probably gonna have some egg sacs and some, server restarts, gonna have some server restarts, but I'm going to finish up the model for this spider, and then we can come back and add details. So there's the model of the spider body. What I think, I got all the legs in. It was at 4th block scale. It's now down to 8th block scale, which I think it makes it look better. It was looking a little bit chunky. I don't think I'm gonna bring it down to 16th scale, because that will take too long and probably not be worth the effort. It might make it look a little better, but probably won't be the full effort. So right now, what I want to do is, I think I'm gonna come in here with these, I got a couple lighter browns here, and I think I'm going to come through here and use them to sort of, I want to make a spot of brown on the back here. If I can feel it in a wee little bit. Basically, I want to add kind of, I mean, you see a lot of spiders and they have this, you know, brownish, different colors of, it's almost like fur, but it's more like, hey, I don't know. I'm not a spider expert, but I do know that things tend to look better with detail and contrast. So, yeah, that's a little better, and then I can kind of come in with some stripes on the legs, maybe. If I fill in stripes like this, and then down here, and take it around, so we can see it on the all sides. I even got a little bit over there. That looks a wee bit strange, but I'm gonna fiddle with it and do some, you know, stuff. Oh, that's not the right block. Gonna add, what does it look like if I add a bright highlight next to each of the regular highlights? But, let's see. Maybe then have it be a gradient from both sides. That'll look better. I mean, the problem it has right now is that it's very thin and doesn't contrast really abruptly with the brown leg. That's a little better. I probably might potentially remove this and maybe keep the lighter bits to be more down the feet, and it gets darker towards the or maybe vice versa. I don't know. I'm gonna mess around with that, but actually, I am out of time for this episode. For right now, I'm gonna fill this back in because it looks terrible, but I am actually all out of time for this episode. And I'm sorry if it doesn't seem like much here. It was a lot. It was a lot of work and took a long time. But I think it's going to be worth it, and we're going to be able to do some great things with this area. I like, you know, I like how this. I'm probably off camera. I'm gonna detail out the spider a wee bit more. Gonna add face and stuff. So, and probably expand this cave. So, with that, I will say good day to you, Internet, and thank you for watching. Actually, I had time to finish it, because I can't record past a certain hour because people go to bed, but I managed to sneak this one in as I continue to work on it. Yeah, I totally switched around the colors. I made the primary color this brown concrete instead of the black here, and I made the black part be an accent color, and I have these eyes which look a little bit silly close up, but from down here, look at that. That's a spider. And so, for the second time in probably about 3 minutes, I will say good day to you, Internet. Thank you for watching again.